President Joe Biden and NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg opened the NATO summit in Washington with strong commitments to bolster the alliance and increase support for Ukraine. As the alliance marks its 75th anniversary amid ongoing Russian aggression in Ukraine, NATO leaders emphasized unity and readiness to face evolving security challenges.
This new pledge sends an unmistakable message to the world that every NATO member is committed to doing their part to keep the alliance strong. We can and will defend every inch of NATO territory, and we'll do it together. And that we're investing in our future strength to ensure NATO will always be ready for whatever threats we will face should be a clear message we're sending to the world. So I want to thank you, every NATO member, for your commitment.
We will increase our support for Ukraine by establishing a NATO coordination and the security assistance and training for Ukraine, and by ensuring a sustained support for the long term. Support to Ukraine is not charity, it is in our own security interest.
Stoltenberg highlighted the significant progress in defense spending, noting that 23 NATO allies now meet the target of spending 2% of their GDP on defense, a substantial increase from just 3 allies a decade ago. This commitment reflects a broader effort to modernize defenses and enhance the alliance's capabilities. A sternly worded communiqué from the summit labeled China a decisive enabler of Russia's war against Ukraine, expressing concerns over Beijing's nuclear arsenal and its capabilities in space. This marks a significant shift, as NATO allies explicitly condemned China's support for Russia's defense industrial base, urging Beijing to cease all material and political support for Russia's war efforts.
This is not just a temporary collision of convenience, it is a major strategic shift. And we must remain clear-eyed as to the threat it poses. As NATO allies agreed today in our summit declaration, China has become a decisive enabler of Russia's war against Ukraine. And China's support increases the threat Russia poses to Euro-Atlantic security. Allies have stated clearly that China cannot enable the largest conflict in Europe in recent history without this negatively impacting their interest and reputation.
In response, the Chinese embassy in Washington reiterated that China does not provide military aid to Russia and controls the export of dual-use articles, maintaining that its trade with Russia is transparent and lawful. The summit also brought forth a crucial declaration regarding Ukraine's future in NATO. The alliance confirmed Ukraine's irreversible path to membership, albeit not until the war with Russia concludes. NATO members announced a series of steps to bolster Ukraine's defenses.
As Ukraine continues its vital reforms, we will continue to support them on their irreversible path to NATO membership. The work we are doing together now will ensure that when the time is right, Ukraine can join without delay. It is not a question of if, but when.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed gratitude for the support, especially after one of the war's deadliest strikes. Ukraine's future is in NATO, the alliance affirmed, committing to support Ukraine's Euro-Atlantic integration and welcoming its democratic, economic and security reforms. However, the statement stopped short of calling for Ukraine's immediate victory over Russia, emphasizing instead the importance of ending the war swiftly. Stoltenberg reassured that NATO's extensive support for Ukraine aims to expedite the war's end, rather than prolong it. He also addressed concerns about potential shifts in US support, given former President Donald Trump's criticisms of NATO. Trump's campaign rhetoric about reducing US support if allies fail to meet defense spending targets has heightened anxiety among Eastern European members. Despite these concerns, Biden reaffirmed the unwavering US commitment to NATO and praised the increased defense spending and the doubling of battle groups on NATO's eastern flank since he took office. The summit also saw NATO and its Indo-Pacific partners, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and South Korea, launch 4 projects to support Ukraine, bolster cyber defense cooperation, counter disinformation, and advance artificial intelligence initiatives. These efforts aim to enhance collaboration on shared security interests across regions. In a notable development, the US, the Netherlands, and Denmark announced that the first NATO-provided F-16 SS would be in the hands of Ukrainian military pilots by this summer. 6 nations, including the United States, are training Ukrainian pilots on the F-16S, with the initial class of 12 Ukrainian pilots completing their training in the US by August.
And I'm also pleased to announce that as we speak, the transfer of F-16 jets is underway, coming from Denmark, coming from the Netherlands, and those jets will be flying in the skies of Ukraine this summer to make sure that Ukraine can continue to effectively defend itself against the Russian aggression.
As day 2 of the summit concluded, European and US allies announced new arms deliveries to Ukraine, including dozens of air defense systems. This comes after a period of blocked US support earlier this year, which allowed Russia to make battlefield gains. In a significant move, the US and Germany also announced the future deployment of long-range missiles to Germany, a step likely to provoke a response from Russia.